Carlos.
This is Dave.
And it's time for the best of 2021 show.
Got a little bit tired there talking, hey?
I was thinking about how many syllables there were, and I'm like, oh God, what am I doing with my life? What led me back here?
It has been a while, everybody, since we've been around. Sorry about that, but life and the pandemic have prevented many things.
They have, but they won't prevent us from talking about the best of 2021, a show that I am not even remotely prepared for.
Okay, but we can both agree that the best of 2021 is the fact that it's almost over, right?
Well, of course, it's almost done. We can go into the next pandemic-filled year of our lives, 2022, with the new Omicron, the Nomad Soul variant on the horizon. That one's going to be fun. Apparently a more contagious but less severe one. Eventually, COVID's just going to become like the cold, or like the runs.
Or like the flu.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's probably the best outcome we could hope for, is that it becomes as menial as the flu.
Yeah, and then you can just get a yearly shot for it. Get your vaccines, people. I get your distrust of the government. The government sucks. I get your distrust of Big Pharma. They suck. I get your distrust of the institution of science. They suck. But the process of science is awesome. And on that front, the vaccines work. Just get the damn shot. I get your distrust of these other things. They suck. Get your damn vaccine. Just get your damn vaccine, please.
Yes.
Just get your damn shot. I know. You're right. No, there shouldn't be mandating you. The government is stupid. People need to be free. I get it. Get the damn shot anyway. Get the damn shot anyway, please. Please. Vaccines.
Or
pandemics. It's
still
going.
Or if you're not going to get it, don't become an entry on the Herman Cain Awards on Reddit.
I have no context for this.
It's basically a Reddit channel where the most outspoken anti-vaxxers then get a listing on the Herman Cain Awards when they die of it. Usually leaving behind loved ones.
As kind of off-brand as this is going to sound, I don't want any anti-vaxxers to die. I want them to live, and
neither do I.
And that's why I want them to get vaxxed.
This is why I'm saying don't become an entry on this.
You're right. You worded it correctly. I misunderstood.
The fact that Pfizer's working on a pill that can help anti-vaxxers who are dying in hospital to possibly not die is a good thing.
Now, don't get me wrong. Pfizer is a giant evil corporation. I appreciate that.
It goes without saying.
They're all evil corporations. I'm not saying trust them about the vaccine. I'm saying trust science, the process, not the institution. Trust your doctor. Pfizer can be evil, and the vaccine can also work. These are not mutually exclusive things.
Agreed.
Yeah. What are we doing? This is the best of 2021, and we're like, people, this is why you need to get your vaccines.
Well, unfortunately, it still has to be said.
Yeah, there's that.
It shouldn't need to be, but it has to be said.
Yeah, it's just get the shot. You can be, believe it or not, I think you can be anti-vaccine mandate, but pro-vaccine. Because I do think you can be against forcing people who have a distrust of this, who maybe have a real reason for that distrust, and also believe the vaccine works. I think this is a complex issue. I just get your shots, people. Don't die. Don't die over this.
I truly believe we could have been out of this a year ago.
Probably.
If people had just gotten the fucking shot.
But I also don't believe in blaming the people directly, because if governments were more trustworthy and they more readily handed out the vaccine without charging for it, and also didn't withhold it from third world nations who need it, so that there aren't other variants that are now being created. No. I blame oligarchs and big money more than I blame individual people, even though I'm urging individual people to please get their goddamn needle.
Well, you hit on the dot as far as the third world goes. I mean, scientists have been saying since the very beginning of this, if we do not get the third world vaccinated at the same time as we do, mutations are going to happen in those countries. It's going to still affect the first world. So get the third world vaccinated. And what do we have?
I remember seeing a special on the CBC about Somalian pirates. And one of them that were interviewed said something to the effect of, if you don't share your safety and security with us, we will share our insecurity and our despair. And this is very much a true thing. If we don't help everyone, we're going to all suffer in the end. Get your damn needle. 2021, best ofs. Dave, please tell me you got some categories. Because I've thought of 2 things
Okay.
to have a best of for, because I kind of just at the last minute said, oh God, maybe we should do, because I don't know if we're going to meet again before the end of the year or not.
God, I hope so.
We're going to try, but the Game Awards are coming up in a couple days, and we kind of want to beat them to the punch.
Well, we can just by having some quality.
I think
I do
you know what?
Like,
not quite what I was talking about, but I get your point.
I mean, the Game Awards that we saw last year with the games that were given certain awards was so obviously a payoff.
Oh, no. And here's the thing. The Game Awards is fine when I'm watching it with a bunch of friends and we're all online on Discord having a laugh together. Or, hell, if we all lived in the same damn place, us being gathered with it in the background wouldn't be bad. It sucked when we made time to watch it, and it sucked anyway.
Well,
but, yeah, you're right. Last year it was The Last of Us Part 2, a game that didn't deserve any awards, let alone Game of the Year, because obviously it was bought and paid for.
Look, I'm not going to go that far. Like, it could have deserved, and I forget most of the things other than the fact that it won way too many awards. But even for all of its issues, it could still have won awards like, graphics, audio,
Most overrated
music.
sequel.
Most overrated exactly. But, I mean, in the music and graphic areas, it still very well may have deserved to win certain things.
It came out the same year as Hades. It doesn't beat Hades in any area.
Oh, yeah, I happen to agree. I'm just saying, it's possible.
Now, this is going to happen again this year. And it's going to be a game that I actually own. I just haven't started yet. I was going to the other day, and then something distracted me.
Which one?
Believe it or not, Dave, I bought Deathloop, and I'm planning to play it sooner rather than later.
I did see that you had bought Deathloop.
Yes.
And I was giggling to myself because you had said you weren't going to get because of an ending spoiler you had. And let's leave it off of here, obviously.
All I was going to say about that is that I will often spoil things for myself, but only to see if I want to watch them. Spoilers don't deter me from watching a thing unless I happen to not like the spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
So, all I'm going to say about Deathloop is that I'm a fan of final bosses, which is all I'm going to say about that.
Fair enough.
That doesn't mean I didn't want to play the game. I've been saying it since we saw it that I wanted to play Deathloop, if you remember.
Yeah, but you when we last talked about it, you said that was enough that you were no longer interested in playing.
Yeah, but then I thought that maybe that was stupid, and that maybe that's dumb, and even though I like final bosses, am I going to deny a whole game I might like because of that? That's kind of silly.
And at the time, I didn't say too much. I thought
I
thought you were being stupid.
Yeah, you should have told me, because you would have been right.
But I mean, I played a bunch of Deathloop now, and I've been enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
The way that it does its systems, I'm liking.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I've seen a lot about it that I know I will enjoy too. So.
I mean, it's been neat to play, especially once you get over the first little what's basically the tutorial set of missions.
Yeah.
And then they actually are like, okay, well, now you know what you're doing, kinda. Have fun!
Cut you loose to figure out the puzzle. I get it.
I love it.
The reason I'm bringing up Deathloop is because this is my prediction for the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Deathloop's going to win every goddamn award it was nominated for.
It doesn't deserve it.
That's the thing. Deathloop, because it's a Microsoft-funded Sony exclusive, And since all these
Is
industry... Yes. It is owned by Arcane Studios, who is owned by Microsoft. Microsoft acquired them after Deathloop was penned to be a year-long PlayStation exclusive.
Pretty sure Deathloop's on Xbox.
Nope. It is on PC.
Are you sure?
It is on PC and PlayStation. It is a console PlayStation exclusive until next year.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
I did not realize how good I had it with it be on PC.
Yeah, it's nice that it's on PC. Apparently, God of War is coming to PC as well, and I'm really looking forward to that, because that's a game I've wanted to play forever. God of War 4, a.k.a. God of War.
Okay, yeah, I
Because try as I might, I still have no PlayStation 5. I think Deathloop is going to win every goddamn thing it's nominated for, and it's only going to win this because, again, it's a Microsoft-funded Sony exclusive, so Sony and Microsoft have already given Jeff Keighley serious money. Every single category Deathloop was nominated for, it's going to win. And I don't agree with that, but I'm less miffed about that than I was about last year's Last of Us fiasco.
Well, I think Metroid Dread deserves the audio category easily.
I think it deserves more than just that, but we'll get to that when we get to our categories.
I mean, I am going to watch the Game Awards this year. Probably be on chat with you. Probably be on Twitter for comments to that.
I'm going to avoid the shit out of Twitter. Twitter's been pissing me off lately. Not enough porn. Too many opinions.
You post enough on it. I don't see how you can be...
Why are you ruining the illusion?
Because I don't like bullshit. I'm going to call you on it. You post enough on Twitter that...
Just because I like to retweet a lot of communists doesn't mean I'm a communist. Just going to hide my communist card.
Yeah. So for our first category...
okay.
Let's go Best of 2021 Games.
Okay, the best video game of 2021. Hit that music! It's the best 2021 video game. It's the best 2021 video game. It's the girl in there. It's the best 21. It's the best 21 video game. This is the best of 2021 video game category, sponsored by Deathloop. Sony and Deathloop available now on PlayStation 5 and Steam. So clearly Deathloop is the winner here. I don't think we even need to discuss anymore.
Yes, we do.
Yes. Why don't you start us off?
I'm not going to give a best of. I'm going to give the best of multiple games.
I also have multiple games,
Okay.
so I'm glad you do too as well.
Though if I had to choose what would be at the top of my list,
For
funny
anyone
enough,
wondering.
it's a game published by EA
Yeah.
called It Takes Two.
You were talking about that. And I've seen both Game Grumps and Kiki play this game with a friend.
This game is spectacular in both graphics as well as in the ever-changing gameplay from stage to stage. Just, it's as close of a perfect game as you can get, especially seeing as it's co-op. And can only be played co-op. So that is would be my top of best of for 2021.
I know it's not my cup of tea, but I have enjoyed watching it quite a bit. And I do think it's very inventive and a lot of times sweet and very heartfelt.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just surprising to me that this came out of EA.
Well,
Like,
EA published it.
yeah, but still, even that is surprising.
It is, and the other thing that's amazing about it is that only one of the two people have to buy the game.
Yeah, I heard that too. And then the other person can play.
You just download it, you join the game, and you're playing. You don't have to buy 2 copies.
How did this happen from Electronic Arts in 2021?
I mean, they did it with the last game they published from this studio. It was a prison one.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't remember the name, but it was like you played as 2 separate prisoners escaping the jail, and you were teaming up. And then at the end of that, the spoiler there is that one of them was an undercover cop, and you have to fight each other to get one of the 2 separate endings.
I actually called that the one guy was an undercover FBI agent about an hour before the reveal, because things just weren't lining up with how he had that many resources. So when it did happen, it's like, I was right!
Part of the reason I like the games industry, despite hating the games industry, is that even when my tastes are very narrow for games I actually want to physically play, but my taste for seeing cool, inventive shit, I think, is actually quite broad. Because I like cool, inventive shit.
Mm-hmm.
I like when cool, inventive shit does well, even when I personally don't want to play it.
Yeah.
And I think that It Takes Two hopefully has been doing well. Because it seems like a very inventive and sweet game, and I think there's a space for games like that it doesn't all need to be super hardcore stuff that I like, or AAA movie-going experiences by people who really would have rather made movies. We have room for things that are kind of a marriage of mechanics and gameplay in a way that lets two people enjoy a co-op experience tailored for that,
And, I mean, It Takes Two, I was expecting it to get a little bit old pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
But Pixar could learn from these devs.
Mm.
Because every single little... When you change from world to world to world, and, I mean, It Takes Two happens in a house, a shed, a tree, and a garden as its quote-unquote worlds. But they are more diverse in mechanics and just glorious graphical splendor and set pieces. I mean, one was even in a snow globe, and it was just a winter wonderland. Every area could be so fun, but yet because you're dealing with a couple going through the beginnings of divorce and their daughter being sad and everything else, there was always melancholy to go along with the glory that was happening. And the book, the Mexican Spanish accented book, who was the trying to fix their marriage, was just so awesome to just throw a little bit of humor in here and there. But the world and the mechanics were what just made every area just brand new mechanics every time. And the worlds are, when I say Pixar should check this out, I'm not putting down Pixar, because Pixar makes glorious worlds. But these devs just took it to another level.
But you had some others you also wanted to bring up.
Yeah, I had a few others. Returnal on PS5.
Yeah, I want to play Returnal bad.
I know you do. And
there's a pretty good chance it would have been on my list if I had played it.
I definitely say it would have. Thankfully, they've allowed the ability to do a save state when you turn off your PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before it was you had to do everything in one long thing, or put your system into suspend and come back and hope you don't have a power outage or something else. They've added that feature in, which is definite improvement, because I've had runs that have been 3-4 hours.
Yeah, they can't force you to do that in one sitting. That's just
they shouldn't.
Hades doesn't force you, and a run won't last an hour most of the time in Hades.
Most of my runs are usually about 2 hours.
You're a scrub. You're a giant, messy scrub.
Yeah, well, fuck you too. Psychonauts 2. I say that not just as, a person who've been looking forward to a part 2 for a very long time, and therefore it just deserves to be on the list. Psychonauts 2 manages to up a lot of what Psychonauts 1 did, in that the mines you go into are not the funny broken that we were used to in part 1, but the broken of holy shit sometimes. I don't want to go too much further than that because I don't want to do spoilers in that game, but it's definitely a very good upgrade to the Psychonauts formula from part 1, and was very, very enjoyable. And even if there's not a part 3, manages to wrap things up for 99% of your story questions from part 1.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed that Microsoft treats Double Fine well.
I'm hoping so, because they gave them more than enough time to continually improve on the game. And Microsoft's been doing a much better job of leaving studios alone to do their thing. Whereas back about 7 to 10 years ago, every studio they bought was basically closed down within a year and a half with their games canceled because it didn't meet their specifications. We're not seeing
changed scope.
We're not seeing that from Microsoft these days, and let's hope it stays that way with all the studios that Microsoft has bought.
Yeah.
Deathloop is on my list because it does deserve to be there. Other than what we've already said about Deathloop, I mean, I enjoy the kind of leveling system to it. Like, there isn't one.
Despite the time loop thing, what I've heard and what I've seen from videos I've seen,
yeah,
this game is almost more like a Metroidvania than it is like a time loop game because of the way you unlock things. Like, it's not comparable to Hades or Returnal.
No,
because
it's
much more. It's much more like if the time travel is part of the narrative. And,
I mean, ultimately it is. And, I mean, this is right in the trailer, so I don't mind saying this. But, I mean, you're going through the steps you need to go through to defeat the time loop. I mean, it does require you to go through the same day many times and go into the same areas at different segments throughout the day. Until you can eventually do everything in one shot. And I dig that, which is kind of funny for me because I'm not a big fan of time-based things.
Yeah, here I'm thinking to myself, but you hated Majora's Mask.
Well, okay, but here's the difference, though. I'm in control. When I go into a time frame, I'm not limited to a countdown timer of an hour. I can spend as much time as I want in a morning, noon, afternoon or evening section as I want to play through. It's not like Dead Rising where I've got a counter going. If I'm not at such a place by 2:03, Survivor X is going to die and therefore I can't get the best ending in the game. That's the sort of shit I hate. There's actually another game that deserves to be on this list. 1 second.
Do it! Do it!
Right, it's right there. Another title that deserves to be on here is a game called The Sexy Brutale.
The Sexy Brutale. I don't know anything about this.
It's more of it's another game that has a time system, which does count down. You have to do things by certain times. But it's more of a third-person isometric kind of idea. You are in this mansion and you are trying to prevent certain people from dying to certain events. And you have to, as you're going through the day, like, you'll actually hear certain events still happening because you stop it once and then you move on. And that event will still repeat, but you don't care about that event anymore until much later in the game, kind of thing. Yeah. And it's like you'll hear a shotgun shell go off at 8 o'clock in the morning. And you know that, Sir Wilbur has just been killed, but you've already saved Sir Wilbur in another universe, so you're trying to work on, another person right now. And it's a puzzle solving in the right order kind of game that it's just, the way it's written is so interesting because you're part of a criminal cabal, but you're trying to now stop the criminal cabal. And there's some powers going on. The whole time loop thing. It was just a really neat game that I got introduced by a friend.
Cool.
I finish off with Metroid Dread. It deserves to be on this list. I mean, really, it should be second after It Takes Two, in my opinion. The rest of the list was in no certain order. It was more what came to mind. And last but not least, Tales of Arise.
Cool. Now, that's it. Only those games. Only those.
Those are the only games that really came to mind. I mean, I just thought of one more off the top of my head. The new Ratchet and Clank for PS5.
Clank.
Clank?
Clank. Ratchet and Clank.
Very well.
Ratchet. Not Latchet and Crank.
I didn't say Latchet.
Ratchet and Clank.
That game is also amazing in its set pieces.
It must be nice. It must be nice to have a PS5 to play it on. Bitch.
What, you mean everybody doesn't have a PS5?
Yeah. It must be nice.
What are the rest of the peons doing?
Asshole. All right. Here are my...
On that topic, quickly,
Yeah.
the chip shortage has fucked everybody over.
Oh yeah.
Scalpers are doing even better job of fucking people.
I have a bunch of components of a PC built, and I'll talk about it to you after the show because I have some questions about cable routing. Maybe you can help me with.
Fair enough.
I fucking know.
I mean, scalpers are.
It's not just chip shortage. This is supply chain.
I know.
A buddy of mine came by because he helped us take apart an old bed frame. And I remember he's like, hey, we gave him some stuff. He was going to make a run to the dump to dump stuff. And he's like, can I keep this plywood? Plywood's super expensive now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's unpack that. Plywood!
Plywood, we're going for almost $100 a sheet.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's the exact figure he gave me.
It's now down cheaper now.
Mm-hmm.
But for a while there, plywood, I mean, it used to be like $13, $14 a sheet.
There's a supply chain crisis. It's the fucking rich. It's them hoarding shit. There's more than enough for everyone. Don't believe anyone who talks about overpopulation. It's oh my god, supply chains. Where's my PS5?
I mean, here in our city, scalpers are trying to sell the new Xbox as well as PlayStation 5s for over $1,400.
What's the new Xbox called, Dave?
I was going to say Xbox One, but I don't know if that's relevant anymore.
No, that's the last system.
That's the last one.
If you don't get it correct, I will kill you.
I don't know because I don't care about the new Xbox.
The Xbox Series X.
Yeah,
the one that looks like a fridge, and you can buy a mini fridge that looks like it.
Oh, God. But anyway, yeah, $1,400 right now for scalpers for the PS5.
There's a bunch of reasons I want a PlayStation 5. None of those reasons are worth $1,500.
No.
I will wait.
No, I paid $100 over retail.
Oh man!
Remember
when you could buy a 3DO card for your PC and play 3DO games on your PC?
No, I don't.
Oh well, you could. You could buy like a Sega Saturn card for your PC and play like Saturn games. I wish you could just buy like a PlayStation 5 card.
That would be nice.
Just play them on PC.
That would be awesome. Granted, that would lose them so much money.
Good.
In comparison.
Good.
Oh, I wouldn't mind.
Fuck them.
On to your games of the 2021.
Okay, my list is much smaller. I only have 2 unless there's any I think of while I'm talking about them. Firstly, now mine, I don't pick one over the other because both of these games are... I struggled thinking which of them I thought was a more game of the year game.
Okay.
But honestly, they both meant as much to me. Both of them were announced very recently, late last year in one case and earlier this year in the one I'm about to mention. And then they came out relatively soon after their announcement, and they both filled me with so much joy. The first is Metroid Dread, as you mentioned. Metroid 5, Metroid Dread. We were still waiting for Metroid Prime 4 news when in a direct earlier this year they unveiled Metroid 5. And it was made by Mercury Steam. They did Metroid Samus Returns, which is really solid. And Mercury Steam, they're a pretty solid developer in general.
Yep.
So Metroid Dread blew me away, honestly. Just so insanely polished. It feels so good to move around in this game. I feel a lot of people online say this game is too hard. They need to pull up their frilly little panties and get good. Because Metroid Dread is wonderfully well balanced in its challenges. Bosses are challenging but very fair. And all the challenges in this game are fair, I feel. It's a delight to explore around planet ZDR, is that what it's called? The new lore elements that were added were really good. The cutscenes were amazing. The powers you get to play with are great. It's very generous with its saving and checkpointing, so you never feel like you lost too much if, say, an Emmy fucking wrecks your shit. The melee counter system's great. The game encourages you to sequence break and gives you rewards if you do. Like if you find the bombs early, you get a cutscene that you can get on Kraid, which you don't normally see. In fact, if you find the warp ability early, the warp dash, there's even another one I didn't know about where you get another cutscene if you do it against his face. Like, Metroid Dread is a great return to form for Metroid. It came out of nowhere. It plays like a goddamn dream. It is... I can't express how much joy I felt playing Metroid Dread. How just impeccably made it is.
Yeah.
This game it's hard. It's a hard game, and yet there has never been an easier Metroid game to do bomb jumping, which I used to skip so much shit, and shine sparking, which is so much easier in this game than it's ever been before.
Even I can pull that shit off.
I got 100% everything, and you have to do a lot of shine spark puzzles to get them.
You do.
When you get them, they feel good, but none of them, again, felt unfair.
One or two, I thought the timing was a little bit split second, but
they're fairly tight, but there are a bunch of them where there are alternate ways to get it. A couple times I got them, and Kiki would be like, you were not supposed to get it that way. My only gripe with Metroid Dread is that I can't configure the controls, because I would have placed some things on different buttons. But none of the default controls were that bad to get used to. I certainly was able to kick the shit out of Ravenbeak and the other bosses. I wish there was a bit more boss variety, because there were a lot of mini bosses that ended up feeling kind of samey.
yes.
And the big bosses were rare, like Kraid and the big mutant monster that you fight a couple times, and then Ravenbeak, I think, are the only really truly unique boss encounters.
Yep, that sounds right.
But these are minor complications, minor gripes, and I'm going to be playing through the game again, both on hard mode and on normal and hard, trying to get it under 4 hours to get all the unlockables. It is great. Metroid Dread, fantastic. One of my games of the year. The other one is actually a remaster from years gone past, an RPG that I loved, but that was very unfinished. And I never thought in a million years we were going to get a remaster that not only wrapped things up in stories, but also gave us a fantastic conclusion to everything, and that's Saga Frontier Remastered. Now, I've talked about it on this show before. Long story short, a lot of the story wasn't finished, and now it is. And Square has done some really shitty remasters. This ain't one of them. Not only do we get like new sprites, remastered visuals, new music, quality of life features, but we get an entirely new campaign that acts as a kind of a new take on the old campaigns, where you play a beat cop who's basically investigating these cosmic and fey ancient deities and issuing like arrest warrants for them and putting them in jail. And Saga games, they're all very inventive and very freeform. They kind of throw you to the wolves in every game, and they're like, figure it out. And you have a lot of different ways you can play this game. And Saga Frontier Remastered was just a game that I've always wanted, and I never in a million years thought I was going to get, and I did. And I am so glad that it came out. It filled me with I can't describe the joy I got playing through Saga Frontier again in a form, in its absolute ultimate form. So Saga Frontier Remastered has to be one of them for me. And I can't really think of too many others. There have been other games I have played that I feel are worth a mention, but none of them are Game of the Year material. But they might be in other categories we talk about?
Possibly.
All right. So, Dave, what's the next category?
Well, best movie of 2021.
Best movie okay, hang on, let's get the song for this one. There's a best movie of 2021. We're about to hear what it is. Oh, so much fun. Dave and Carlos gonna tell you all the time. I'm having trouble finding words that rhyme. All right, that's best movie of 2021, featuring Dave and me. And speaking of me, Carlos, what fucking movies have I seen this year?
Hard, isn't it? Without planning.
What fucking movies have I seen this year? Okay, hang on a second. I've seen some movie this year, right? I saw some of Red Notice on Netflix, but not all of it. It had The Rock and Ryan Reynolds in it. What fucking movies have I seen this year?
I don't know, because you don't go to movie theaters.
No, fuck movie theaters. I'm so done with them. God damn it! What movies have come out? You know what? I'm sorry. You're gonna have to start this one off again, because maybe I'll have seen one of the ones you bring up.
I got 4 on here.
Jesus.
Yeah, like there hasn't been many movies that I can think of this year. Best movie of 2021, Free Guy.
I wanted to see Free Guy.
Free Guy.
I wanted to see
Done.
Free Guy.
Ryan Reynolds at his best. Fantastic. Probably the best video game movie I've seen ever. Followed up by Marvel's Shang-Chi.
I wanted to see that too.
Awesome.
Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings.
Awesome movie. Had people pop up that I never thought I'd see again in Marvel. I knew nothing about the character, which is probably why I enjoyed this movie so much, because I've known things about all the characters I've seen in Marvel up to date. I've known kind of where their stories have gone, problems they've had, how they've died, how they've come back, etc. But this character, I knew he knew martial arts. And
wasn't Iron Fist.
And was... Well, I never watched Iron Fist.
No, I'm just saying that he's the other martial artist.
And I knew that he was somehow related to...
the Mandarin?
The Mandarin.
He wasn't in the comics, that's more of a movie thing, but it fits.
Well, and... Yeah, so
It's kind of like how Darkseid wasn't really a Superman villain until the Superman animated series.
Fair enough.
And then after you see that, you're like, you can't think of any other way it could be, right?
But, I mean, I knew from the trailers that the Mandarin was involved because of the 10 Rings. So, yeah, I dug that movie.
You dug that movie.
It was just over-the-top fun. Venom 2. Another fantastic movie.
Is it called Venom 2 or is it called Venom Let There Be Carnage? You know what? It doesn't matter.
You're probably right. I'm just going to say the second Venom movie.
The second Venom movie. We are a professional podcast. Award-winning, one might say.
And, I mean, the second Venom movie was well done. Just like the first one, I enjoyed it. And then the second credit scene happened, and mind fucking blown.
Cool. What happened in it? Does it link it to the MCU?
You've seen spoilers.
No, I haven't. I'm legitimately asking.
Yes.
It does link it to the MCU. That's awesome.
Well, especially seeing as...
By the way, if you haven't seen the movie, don't listen to what Dave just said.
We've already said spoilers and offensive content.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck you!
There's the offensive content. Anyway, no, the thing I have liked about the Venom movies, they didn't need Spider-Man to be good movies at all. And because of events that happen in the second Venom movie, he ends up going on vacation and leaving the city. And they are in this little, like, Hawaiian hut. It may not have been Hawaii, but it looks like it. And they're watching TV, and then all of a sudden, what I can only describe as a timequake happens. And then all of a sudden, Spider-Man's on the TV, and Venom gets all right into at the TV, like he knows who Spider-Man is, and then licks the screen, and you're just like, oh no.
Yeah, you said it's a time quake. Is this like the Dairy Queen cheese quake? You know, they don't call it that anymore.
No?
No, they just say it's like a cheesecake blizzard. They don't call it cheese quake anymore.
Yeah.
So they didn't want to offend people who maybe have lost people in real world cheesequakes.
That's just stupid enough to be the real reason.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, no, I did not think they'd try and bring Venom into the MCU. Especially with just how much that Sony has been like, we're making our own cinematic universe with the Spider-Man characters and everything else. Maybe Sony finally just realized that they can just sit back and make money while Marvel makes movies with their characters. Maybe somebody had a brain cell turn on. Why are we spending all this money when Marvel can do 99% of it? But Venom, yeah, that doesn't sound like it's going to be a good interaction. I just hope that they aren't going to, all of a sudden turn Venom into a bad guy. Because him as an anti-hero is awesome.
Oh, that was insanely loud.
Muting that.
Ba-ding!
But anyway, yeah, Venom 2 is on there. Last one would be the new Dune movie.
Dune! The spice.
Yes.
The spice melange.
Now,
Snort that shit and learn how to travel the cosmos.
yeah, pretty much. Of course, you turn into a giant mutant slug by doing that.
No, I'll just have spice on hand so that I go.
No,
so that the cravings.
That's not how that works.
No, it does. Don't worry. I'll become part spice and Dune.
I'm a big fan of the original Dune movie. So, and every time somebody has tried to do a TV series or a new movie for Dune, it hasn't worked, either due to lack of use of the source material, poor acting, poor directing. It just hasn't worked. So going into this one, I was kind of like, okay, well, it looks like you guys have actually put some effort into this one. Let's see how your take is of the source material. And they released this mainly into theaters and on streaming services at the exact same time. That was a mistake. And the reason why I say it was a mistake is because it leaked from... What service was that on? Wasn't Netflix. Wasn't Disney Plus.
HBO Max?
HBO Max, thank you. It leaked from HBO Max 5 hours before it was supposed to go live. And so it hit torrent and pirate sites really quick in full HD glory. Now, I'm on the same page as you that I think releasing it onto streaming sites is a good thing at about the same time. I might give it, a week of exclusivity in theaters. Not, months kind of thing. But this was a movie that already, they've only done half the book in the first movie. And it was an agreement with them and the publisher that if it did well enough in theaters, no mention of streaming, that it would get greenlit for the second movie to be made. So it being leaked from HBO Max and everything else, everybody else was thinking this movie has no chance of getting a second one. But thankfully, it still did well enough in theaters that it has been greenlit and will be getting a second movie to finish off that first book.
Cool.
But the actual movie did a quite good job. More authentic to the book than the original movie is. I don't think the actors are quite as good as the original did, but it's a different take, so you have to take it as it is.
Dune.
You haven't read the book or haven't seen the movie.
I know about the spice.
That's all you know about. Okay.
I know about sandworms.
Yeah.
I know that you need the spice to reach the level of mind to pilot your aircraft into... I know the spice enables an interstellar civilization, and that without it, you wouldn't have that.
And it's funny. You actually know more about that than the first movie even acknowledges. The original movie set the basis around, how the technology worked, that the spice allowed these basically giant slugs to bend space-time and allow you're right, an interstellar civilization. They don't mention any of that in this first movie. They focus more around the people and everything else with the events going on. And it works. It does. The actors they've got in this movie do a damn fine job. There are certain things you're like, well, where's this and where's that from the book / the first movie? And I think that's the biggest problem is you've got fans of the original like me who still expect to see those scenes, but have to acknowledge that this is not the same movie. That the original movie did change a hell of a lot.
Dune.
So yeah, Dune.
Spice.
The spice did flow.
The spice melange.
So those are the most memorable / best of 2021. There haven't been that many
best.
movies that I've watched this year.
Well, I haven't seen any of those movies, but there is a movie I just remembered as we were talking about it.
Yeah.
So here is my movie of 2021. And it is Charlie the Unicorn, the complete finale on YouTube. Finally, the conclusion to the decades-long Charlie the Unicorn saga has graced us. And the finale does not disappoint, featuring things like a song where an anthropomorphic animal creature's ghost and a coat got married, and Charlie goes to the cat temple to find the truth of who he really is, and his 2 unicorn tormentors, and the starfish who's in love with Charlie, but Charlie doesn't return the affection. It is it's a crazy, crazy ride and a crazy conclusion to a journey that started 10 years ago when Charlie visited Candy Mountain and got his kidney stolen.
I hate everything you just said. Fuck everything you just said about that movie. Was this a Netflix thing?
No, it was on YouTube for free.
Oh, god damn it.
Have you not seen Charlie the Unicorn?
Of course I have.
Got his kidney stolen? Well, he finally concluded the story this year.
You know what the worst part about that was? They didn't take his fucking head.
I'm sure they probably have at some point. I think part of the idea is Charlie keeps getting revived.
Now, one movie I need to call out that I haven't seen yet, but probably will end up making my list, is the new Ghostbusters movie. I intend to see it here in the next week.
Yeah.
Because I think it looks like a fun romp. We'll see if it actually lives up to the Ghostbusters name.
Cool.
Looking at the actual movies that came out in 2021, though, there's not all that many big name ones.
Look at the list you're looking at. Pick one and say it.
Only
Only one.
Prisoners of Ghostland.
Okay, let's move on to the next category. Because I don't know why, but that title made me mad.
Make you even more mad when I tell you it stars Nicolas Cage.
Oh, and maybe not. Maybe that'll be good then.
Actually,
I've learned to appreciate our Lord and Savior Nicolas Cage.
I don't know if that one Nick Cage movie came out this year, whether it was last year. The one where he beats up the Friday Night Freddy's.
Oh, the Five Nights at Freddy's homage?
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was called. I don't remember what year it came out. And I don't think it was 2021.
No, I don't either, because that would deserve to be on this list if it had come out this year.
Perhaps.
Willy's Wonderland.
Willy's Wonderland, yes.
And that came out... Oh! Okay, no, it did come out this year. It deserves to be on the list.
Cool, throw it on there.
It is.
Next category. What's the next category?
That's actually the only categories I came up with.
That's it? Best game, best movie?
What else is there?
Okay, I got
Best
one.
car?
The most promising early access game that came out in 2021. Let's
I'm not going through the list of thousands.
Okay, just pick one, but you have to sing the song for this one.
No.
Okay, I'll make one up. Let me tell you a little story on this podcast about the most promising upcoming early access Steam game of 2021, featuring Dave. Say something, Dave. Cool, I wasn't expecting you to say something in the song of mine. Now I don't have to find words that rhyme, because this song hasn't been rhyming at all. Let's talk about these games, y'all.
How are we defining early access here? Is it a game that is still in early access, or is it a game that has come out of early access, or...
Let's say that it's a game that entered early access this year.
Okay.
And is still in early access right now.
Okay.
That you feel has promise.
Oh boy.
Okay. You know what? You have
No,
time, because I can actually start this one.
Absolutely.
Because I only have one, because I don't normally play early access games.
Uh-huh.
So for me to play an early access game means that I must find something special about it. And this game is a actual full-ass, although early access, not a compilation of a bunch of old games released by Konami. And it is called Getsu Fumaden Undying Moon. Dave, do you remember Castlevania Harmony of Despair?
I do.
Do you remember Chapter 11, The Legend of Fuma?
A little bit.
That chapter was based off of a game that only came out in Japan until just very recently, because along with this game, they released a Steam version of that old NES game, albeit in Japanese.
Of course.
That game is called Getsu Fumaden, which roughly translated means The Legend of Fuma.
Okay.
This NES game actually has a lot in common with the first NES Ninja Turtles game, in that there's an overhead map and then you go into sub-areas. It also shares a lot. One of the attack animations is very much like Leonardo's Swing, and a lot of the sound effects legit come from Ninja Turtles on NES. Getsu Fumaden is a very highly regarded game because it apparently plays really well, and it might be in the Castlevania canon. As in, it might have happened on the same Earth and at the same time as some Castlevania games.
Okay.
Getsu Fumaden Undying Moon is an early access title on Steam that is in English as well, and it takes place 10,000 years after, which throws the Castlevania canon into some weird places, and is kind of it's sort of Castlevania meets Dead Cells. It's a roguelite.
Okay.
And you go through areas, you find better weapons for that run, better sub-weapons, and they're specifically called sub-weapons like Castlevania. And you go through, fight enemies, you go through maps that have some degree of random generation, you fight a boss, go to the next area, and when you die, you go back to your estate, and you try all over again, and then you can buy things to slowly upgrade your character and upgrade the various weapons you can find, like in Dead Cells. Although there's no guarantee you're going to find the weapons on the run, like in Dead Cells.
Yeah.
So if you like Dead Cells, you probably want to give this a go. Although you do have to buy it. It's an early access. It's like $30.
What was that? What was that?
Getsu Fumaden Undying Moon.
Getsu
Fumaden is all one word.
Moon?
Yeah, Undying Moon. The character you play as is also called Fuma. He's apparently the descendant of the Fuma from the original game, and one imagines Harmony of Despair. What's really cool is that the first boss you fight in the game is Ryukotsuki. I don't know how you pronounce his name. And if you remember, in Harmony of Despair, that was the boss in the Getsu Fumaden chapter. The big skeleton thing that bullet hells you. Mm-hmm. And it plays the same music. So I got huge Harmony of Despair flashbacks from that, like in a good way.
Interesting graphics.
It is a beautiful, beautiful game.
Okay, adding to my wish list.
It is very pretty. I think it's worth the money, but we'll see if they keep updating it. They have been regularly updating it. To Konami's credit, I forget the name of the developer that's making this, but they have been actually supporting them. And they've been coming out with, updates in English and all that, so...
It's funny to hear Konami actually having an actual game that's being developed and worked on.
This is the closest thing we've had to a brand new Castlevania game.
Yeah.
If it's in the same universe. Because it's
cool.
It's Fuma, right? We know Fuma. We're familiar with him. But that's my promising early access title of 2021.
See, the problem that I have here is that most of the early access games that I have been playing didn't release this year.
This didn't release yet either, so...
No, what I mean is, it didn't start...
Oh!
Like, when I say release, I mean as an early access product.
So, you know what? If it makes it easier, if the game got a lot of its updates this year, we can count it.
I'm going to give several titles I've been playing, but I will give the dates that they started in. Like, I have probably put in 150 hours this year into a game called Satisfactory.
I've heard of Satisfactory.
Now, it launched in 2020, but has had massive updates this year and is still in early access. What's another one on here that... one that I haven't started playing yet, but looks very Satisfactory-like. It is a single-player game called Dyson Sphere Program, where you start on a planet, and you start building your factories and getting your materials together to eventually build a Dyson sphere around your sun.
Yeah.
It looks interesting. It's one of those games that number one thing that everybody is asking for is co-op, so people can build their stuff together, just like Satisfactory. And they say that's possible in the future. They're going to be adding in threats, so you're going to be able to make like turrets and stuff to defend your properties. That one actually did come out this year in early access back in January. I just haven't picked it up to play it. Too much else to check out when I've actually had a little bit of motivation. And I guess the only other early access title, and keep in mind, I'm not. There have been a number of regular and AAA games that have launched as a full game this year that have been little more than early access titles. Like a survival game launched yesterday called Icarus. And it might as well be an early access title for how poorly optimized and everything else it is. Not quite part of this area, but I feel more and more full AAA titles are launching as early access titles. Just not under the guise of early access. It's the nature of games these days that launches broken, poorly optimized shells, and then over the next year they will fix them.
Shitty kind of habit.
It's one that they've all gotten into, though. Very few. Name the last game that you played, other than Metroid Dread, that didn't need a patch day one to fix shit.
Mario Golf Super Rush. It has had updates, but it didn't need it right at the beginning.
Okay.
Take that, Dave. Bam.
How about a non-Nintendo title?
Non-Nintendo? I want to say Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, but I don't know if that got a day one patch. I know it's been patched, and I don't want to name Castlevania Advance Collection because while I didn't get a day one patch, it's just a collection.
Yeah.
It's kind of cheating.
No,
so I don't know.
Fair enough, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're getting at, for sure.
It was a lot less rare back in cartridge days. That would happen, because,
what are you going to do? Oh, shit, we have a game-breaking bug. All we can do is release another wave of cartridges and hope more people get it.
And it's funny, on the Facebook, one of the Facebook groups that I'm on, a guy was selling a copy of Turok for N64.
The first Turok game? Turok Dinosaur Hunter? Because there were like 3 on N64.
All I know is the original cartridge was black.
Yeah, I remember that. I think that the first Turok game
had a game-breaking bug in 2-player that on stage 2 you literally could not finish the level with 2 players.
Oh dear.
So, they had to release a second version of the game with a gray cartridge, but they were super rare. Or they were asking for $1,600 for it. Yes, I agree with the finger. The video game rarity group is insane for stuff like that. I wish old games that were on the rarer side like that didn't cost an arm and a leg to own, and why I fully support emulation.
Emulation's great.
I just wish game companies would work with us more.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that, Dave.
Another game that I wouldn't mind trying, but I'm waiting for the full game to release.
Yeah, huh?
Baldur's Gate 3 launched as an early access title.
Yeah?
But that was the same thing they did with Divinity 2.
Yeah.
Where players were allowed to come along on the entire journey as they built the game and give feedback to make it better. And Divinity 2 is an amazing fucking game. The fact that they chose that developer to make Baldur's Gate 3 made perfect sense. I just don't... I used to like being on that journey with developers. Now I just want the final game. Because if I help them build it, I end up not wanting to play the final title.
That's why I'm not going to go too crazy with Getsu Fumaden Undying Moon. I'm playing it now and then, and I'll definitely give my feedback to the devs.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to go out of my way to play it every damn day like I did with Hades for a while.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's
I don't want to spoil a full game for myself.
It's unfortunate. Even I try to avoid beta testing stuff like a month before the game comes out. Like I did that. I did that hardcore with the one space MMO that has since been shut down.
Tabula Rasa?
No, not Tabula Rasa. It was the one after that, the one with like the bunny girls and everything else.
Oh, WildStar!
WildStar. I beta tested and I gave feedback like fucking crazy that none of it got listened to, unfortunately. And when I actually bought the actual game, I couldn't bring myself to go through the stuff I'd already been through. It was kind of boring. So that kind of taught me that it's great to be at the forefront there, but it also hurts your long-term...
I don't gotta be bleeding edge.
Yeah.
Endwalker, FF14 Endwalker came out today, I think, or yesterday.
Early access, yeah.
No, yeah. And Kiki could play it, but she's like, no, I give it time. Yeah. She doesn't gotta be bleeding edge with it, and I agree with that.
Yeah, no, I bought it simply because my subscription was about to expire, and I wanted the experience earring to get my characters up. Because I think I'm only like 20% through the last expansion, which kind of hurts me a little bit. But yeah, there's Baldur's Gate.
But you haven't actually played that one, though.
I haven't, but
I don't think that counts for this category, then. Like, I didn't count Returnal as one of my games of the year.
Also not early access.
No, but I also didn't play it.
Yeah, I guess.
So it wouldn't have been fair if I included it.
Well, I bring it up as a game that I'm looking forward to, then.
No, that's fair, that's fair.
Any other categories you could think of?
Well, let me float some categories and see if you'd have anything for them. Best hot sauce of 2021?
Never one that I do.
Keith's chicken sauce. Best thing Carlos has been doing instead of playing new games. And that would be, I've been playing the shit out of the Symphony of the Night randomizer. I've played, I'm on my third seed. Laugh all you want, it has rekindled my affection for Symphony of the Night. It's to play it in a setting where I don't know where everything is, and I have to make do with finding things before or way after I would normally have them.
Like, look, I understand that, like, randomizers for these games are basically, well, they are a mod, number one, but, I mean, it can extend the life of the game by adding a randomization to it. I get that. I may not care about it, but I get why people love it so much.
I'm the guy who, I'll go onto the Castlevania subreddit, find people who post their Symphony of the Night maps and be like, what square am I missing? And I will find the square.
Uh-huh.
Because I have this game pretty memorized front to back.
Makes sense.
So in that environment, it's just breathed new life into it. Like, okay, I got this way earlier. How can I break the sequence now to get what I want, right? It's just, it's rekindled my love of Symphony of the Night is all. And, I have a complicated relationship with Igavanias, so anything that'll let me love them is good by my book.
I actually do have a category.
Oh, yeah?
Upcoming games you're looking forward to.
Okay. Oh, God, another song. Hang on. Upcoming games you're looking forward to. Upcoming games looking forward to. Coming soon. Oh, God. Christ. I did not like that at all.
You did it to yourself, so I don't feel bad.
Okay. Upcoming games that I'm looking forward to. Before we recorded, I showed you the trailer for Multiverses.
Yep.
Definitely looking forward to that one. That looks like a fun platform fighter. Honorable mention to a game that I wish I could have included in my games of the year, and that's PlayStation. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, which is a very good game, and it is way better than any Smash. It feels much better to play right off the bat. And its net play is a lot better, even though they're working out some kinks in the rollback. But there's a lot that it's not there yet. They're a few degrees away. They're missing the voice acting. They're missing some polish. They're missing some of the netcode refinement.
Yep.
And I wish it could have been there, but I still want to play more of that, and Multiverses is definitely something I want to sink into. It's a ways off, but the League of Legends fighter, which I don't think has a title yet, is another one of them.
Yep.
Because Tom and Tony Cannon, I believe that's their name, they're the guys who started Shoryuken.com. They're the guys who invented GGPO rollback netcode. I don't think they invented rollback, but I'm pretty sure they invented the peer-to-peer rollback fighting games use.
Is Shoryuken even still around?
Yeah, they're still around. But there's not a lot to it anymore.
Yeah.
And the game looks good. I legitimately think the League of Legends fighter actually looks very nice.
Yes.
It looks... Here's the thing. If we're talking about how good fighting games look, obviously at the top we have Guilty Gear, and then it goes down from there. I think League of Legends is up there. It's under Guilty Gear.
Yeah.
It's very, very nice on the eyes so far. And hey, I like the League universe and the characters. I just don't care for League of Legends. So any vector I can use to enjoy this fictional realm, it works with me, and fighting games are definitely a way to do it.
Yeah.
Other games I'm looking forward to. Jesus, what else is coming out?
I know one that we're both looking forward to.
Which is?
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Oh yeah, Ghostwire Tokyo with the cute Japanese dev whose name I forget. Yeah, she's cute.
I'm looking forward to the new Lego Star Wars Skywalker saga, simply because it covers all 9 movies plus other stuff. I kind of like the Lego games and the way that they do the different various jokes and everything else. And they're not playing this game all that seriously. They are making jokes about it and making fun of how certain things went, and not taking it quite so seriously. It's like, I think it's going to be a neat little romp.
Mm.
God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah, that one's... I still have to play God of War, but it is going to happen. It's out on Steam soon, apparently.
Yep.
So, definitely Ragnarok is another one to look at.
Obviously, for both of us, Zelda Breath of the Wild 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also looking, obviously, forward to Horizon Forbidden West, being a big Horizon Zero Dawn fan. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is another game that I'm going to get into, because I've liked Borderlands, and I like the Tiny Tina character.
Metal Slug Tactics on my side of things.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm not interested in that style game anymore.
I know. But I definitely am. For sure. For show. So,
there's the new Kirby game.
There is the new Kirby.
Kirby and the Forgotten Land being an actual 3D title.
I'm not sure how interested I am in that as I am in actually playing the last 2D Kirby, which I haven't yet.
Yeah. I'm kind of interested in the Knights of the Old Republic remake, but I'm waiting to see what they actually do with it. Because, the original was a damn fine game at the time. It's going to be... Just putting a new paint job on it isn't going to be enough for me to play it again.
Yeah, I think for me the question is, how well has it aged?
Yes.
Because I recently tried playing the original Baldur's Gate.
Oh boy.
And I'm like, oh wow. Oh, absolutely not. There are some old games I can play to death. That ain't going to be one of them.
No, it's not. Like, I fired up Neverwinter Nights, but I did with the new version as well as graphics pack that somebody had made. Now that game actually holds up. But yeah, Baldur's Gate, no. I loved that game to death back in the day, but it has not aged gracefully, even the upgrade versions. Looking forward to Dragon Age 4. More and more now, because they've completely confirmed that they have thrown out all of the multiplayer and have made it a single-player experience, just like the last one that did so well.
Here's one that I know you're looking forward to, because we're probably going to play it together. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge.
Yes. Or Hollow Knight Silksong.
Yeah, you're more the Hollow Knight guy, but...
That's right, you never played Hollow Knight 1.
The aesthetic doesn't really interest me, but I'm sure it's... I have no doubt that it's a fine game. Just not for me.
Bayonetta 3.
Mm-hmm. Gestalt, Demon Cinder.
Yes.
That's that... It looks like a Metroidvania, but it's actually more like an RPG with that 2D perspective. Young Souls is another one that I've been looking forward to.
Not one I know.
It is a 2D brawler action RPG.
Okay.
This is the title art for it. It's coming up.
Okay.
You play as a brother and sister looking for their foster father in a fantasy world.
Another game that's coming out second half of next year, supposedly, is Little Witch in the Woods. It's the next game from the guy who made Stardew Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Which means I'm going to dig this.
Anno Mutationum is one that I think we saw in one of the indie shows.
Yep.
It's a cyberpunk style game. Sacrifier, which is a JRPG style game that it looks a lot like the art style of Octopath Traveler.
Yeah.
Looks a lot like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my last title for looking forward to upcoming is Shadow Warrior 3.
Shadow Warrior 3 is an interesting one,
Even though they dropped the multiplayer.
That's a bummer. Then no, because that's how I probably would have played it. Metroid Prime 4, though who knows how far out it is.
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention that one because of that. Because, I mean, it's on the list I'm looking at here. But that is such a to-be-determined title. It's in the same kind of legendary space as Breath of the Wild 2, even though we'll probably get Breath of the Wild 2 before Prime 4. So,
oh no, Breath of the Wild 2, I think there have been strong hints that there's a big industry partner. They're going to announce a huge update to a title at the Game Awards. Jeff Keighley said as much. And the suspicion is Nintendo, that they're going to do a big spot on Breath of the Wild 2.
You think?
They've had a Game Awards history. They've revealed 2 Smash characters and a bunch of other exclusive shit through the Game Awards. They actually have a good partnership with Jeff Keighley.
Well,
everybody likes Jeff Keighley. Look, I might have a problem with the Game Awards. I don't have a problem with Jeff Keighley per se.
He's okay.
He's fine. He doesn't grate at my nerves as a host, and even though he's obviously in it for the moolah, kind of like Major Nelson or like the head of Xbox or whatever.
Yeah.
I legitimately believe he likes games. And that's a low bar for being someone in the industry, but I believe it.
And it's funny you bring up the guy who's in charge of Xbox right now.
It's not Phil Spencer, is it? I think it's Phil Spencer.
I think it's Phil Spencer, yeah.
Yeah.
I was recently watching a video on the E3 where Microsoft they both did the PS4 and the Xbox One.
Yeah, and Microsoft shanked just by PlayStation.
Yeah, got
because PlayStation's like, yeah, you can borrow game. Here you go.
Yeah,
done.
I go back and I watch those videos every now and then because it just gives me so much joy at how well that was done.
I can't believe how Microsoft built up so much goodwill with the 360. Pissed it away immediately.
In one video.
They are only now back to that level of goodwill, I think. So what are they going to do to piss it away now?
Well, see, and this is why I was bringing up Phil Spencer's, because when their old guy in charge retired after that debacle, especially after he said, well, we've got a machine for people who want to play offline, it's the Xbox 360.
Did he retire after that?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And went to work for Zynga Games, the one behind Candy Crush.
Oh, Zynga?
Yeah. And then left them like a year later.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, he jumped ship as fast as he could after he fucked that all up.
Wow.
And then Phil Spencer took over the whole thing.
Yeah.
But ever since Phil took over, we've seen things like most Xbox games going to PC immediately. Because he recognizes that, hey, this is a group of people who are never going to buy the Xbox, and we make so much money. It's what even Sony is starting to learn, that, hey, PC players don't normally buy consoles. You have your outliers, like me, who own the PS5, and I own the Xbox One.
I would have been one of those outliers where I have a good PC and a PS5. But at the moment, it's just a Switch.
Yes.
Because I can't fucking find one.
Yes. At
a reasonable price.
No. But, again, a lot of PC gamers don't go into consoles and vice versa. So you've got two separate markets. if you bring your games to both markets, you're going to make more money. And even Sony's starting to wake up to this whole thing.
All I want is Nintendo to wake up for it because I want to play Metroid Prime games with a keyboard and mouse. That's all. That's all I want to happen.
No, I'll still use a controller, but I get what you're saying. I would love Nintendo games on my PC. Diablo 4 is another one. I don't think we're going to see that in 2022.
We're definitely not seeing it in 2022.
I think that's probably 2023, 2024 at this point.
I have it on my radar. I don't have it super hard on my radar.
I want Diablo 4. I want more games that are like that. It's just, they seem to be in no rush, and I'm in no rush either. It'll get here when it gets here. Atomic Heart.
Well, yeah, I had that on my list too. I just didn't remember what it was, so I didn't mention it.
Yeah.
It was that Russian game.
Yes.
Yeah, and what was it again? What kind of game is it? Because I don't remember.
It's been described as a Russian BioShock.
Yeah, Atomic Heart.
We have no idea when it's coming out, but Microsoft is publishing it. So it's not vaporware.
No, well, that's for sure. They see something in there.
I mean, I see a lot of things to look forward to in the trailers that we've gotten, but I'm still just in the dark from the trailers as anybody else. It's like, okay, what is going on in this? So, I mean, there are all kinds of games we can bring up. Like, what is a game you want to pop up in 2022 as a game coming out later on down the line? Like one of your...
You want to say that again?
Basically, the equivalent of one of your dream games just popping up.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense to me. What is it, dream game I would love to see announced in 2022?
Yeah.
Obviously there's a ton. Marvel vs. Capcom 4 would be nice to hear. Mega Man 12, Mega Man X9, Mega Man Legends 3, Sonic Mania 2, Final Fantasy 6 2. That one will never happen.
Nope.
Final Fantasy Remake 2. That one will happen. We just don't know when.
Wait, Final Fantasy Remake 2?
Oh, whatever the
7
sequel to...
Remake 2.
Yeah, did I say 7?
You didn't say 7. No.
Final Fantasy 7 Remake 2.
Thank you. It is about time for them to mention that.
The legendary mythical, never released, but maybe one day it'll become real, Castlevania 1999 game with Julius Belmont. Harmony of Despair 2, or at least some kind of enhanced port.
Yeah, Harmony of Despair 2 would be nice. Just don't fuck it up this time.
A reboot of Chrono Trigger, where Chrono Cross doesn't happen.
That's never happened.
No, never.
Seeing as we're starting to hear serious rumors of a Chrono Cross re-release / remake /
Tales of Arise 2 would be nice, though I don't think the devs want to make another Tales of Arise. I think they want to make a new Tales game, but not a sequel to Arise specifically.
That is how they've been doing a lot of Tales games.
I recently did a European Namco Bandai server, which apparently is going to the Tales devs. And some of the questions were like, what old Tales game would you like to see remastered? What previously unreleased in the West game would you like to see come out? So I'd love to see some old Tales remasters or re-releases.
Okay, on the fact of Tales games that did come out here, which one would you like to see remade?
Eternia.
Eternia?
Eternia. A.k.a. what we got as Destiny 2.
Okay.
Not the real Destiny 2, which never came out in the West.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the big one. Because I love Tales of Eternia, but I'd love to see it get the update it deserves. I like that cast. I would love to see its mechanics and graphics and whatnot updated, and maybe a new voice cast. Because goddamn, that old dub is rough.
A lot of old games like that had rough
Swallow
dubs.
Blade, Super Swallow Dance.
Until Tales of Arise came out, I'd say the best dub that we got was Symphonia.
Symphonia was really good. We did have some where the dub cast was good, but you could tell they were rushed or had bad voice direction or both.
Legendia?
Specifically Legendia, Abyss, and some of Vesperia. Most of Vesperia is well acted. But there are some parts that are a little rough, especially in the remake, where you could tell they had to cast different actors for new parts.
That's too bad.
Arise's translation is absolutely stellar. But yeah, that's all I can think of for games that actually come out.
For my side of that, I would love to see Fallout 1 and Fallout 2
Yeah.
get a full remake in the isometric style.
Thank God, because we were about to have a fight here.
No,
I thought you were gonna. I thought for a moment you were gonna be like, I want it remade in like the Fallout 4 engine, and I was gonna jump over this fucking. I was gonna pummel through the bunker we're in.
The only studio I would trust to do a 3D remake of 1 and 2 is the studio behind New Vegas.
Oh yeah, Obsidian.
Obsidian is the only studio I would trust to do that, and they would have to be given all the time they needed.
Yeah, you need to give Obsidian time. You don't need to give them too much time, but you need to not rush them either.
Speaking of which, there is a rumor going around right now that Obsidian may be at this very moment working on Fallout New Vegas 2.
Just about everybody I know has played the Fallout New Vegas and loves it. And they would be absolutely happy.
Now, there's only one reason why I kind of hope that's not true.
Yeah.
Because that would mean that Obsidian's Part 2 to the Outer Worlds might not be happening.
Well, that was already announced, so it's probably not going to get canceled.
I hope not, because that was their fuck you to Bethesda. But now that they're all part of the Microsoft family, it's not so much of a fuck you to a different company, it's a fuck you to your own. So I'm hoping that if they are working on New Vegas, it is one part of the studio and not, the Outer Worlds being backbenched.
Well, we'll see. I doubt that's going to happen, but, I just hope that they're not overworked, ultimately, is all.
Because what I would want to see in that case is if they are working on a New Vegas 2, one of the things I was hoping with Microsoft buying up Bethesda is that they would tell them, due to fan feedback in mass quantities, that the fucking Fallout engine needs to be scrapped and rebuilt.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Because they've been working off that fucking engine since Daggerfall in 96.
Or they need to fucking license an engine that works. Look.
Oh, the Unreal Engine would work fine.
They're IDs under them. They can use ID Tech 4 or whatever ID Tech they're at right now.
But it's time for the Fallout engine to be napalmed.
I agree with that.
It is not up to snuff for their own stuff, let alone for all the mods that make their games last as long as they do. Make it right the first time, and make an engine that could therefore be used for the next 20 years.
No, I agree. We'll see what comes up.
Fallout New Vegas in the engine they made for the Outer Worlds.
What is the engine in the Outer Worlds? Is it a custom engine or is it Unreal Tech?
I don't know. Should I look up quickly?
Yeah, look it up.
Unreal Engine 4.
Unreal Engine 4, there you go.
So, the nice thing about the Unreal Engine is you can mod it to the next version pretty easily. In fact, if you stick with the Unreal Engine, your engine should never suck like the current Fallout engine does. You just gotta make sure it has the hooks for mods that keep your game relevant.
Yeah! So in conclusion, 2021 was a year that we're happy ended. There were some best ofs, some worst of. Well, we didn't do any worst ofs, and I don't think we're going to.
Leave that for another video.
There were some highs, some lows, some creamy middles. And turns out we can still record a lot of content when we haven't prepped for a best of. Because we're giant blabbermouths who love to talk about shit. Folks, what did you think was the best of 2021 in whatever category that you like? Go over to our website, animerave.xyz, where you can find this show and leave us comments and suggestions and voicemails and improvements and feedback. Dave, a nugget of wisdom.
Tune in next time.
That's not a nugget of wisdom. Give them a nugget of fucking wisdom.
No.
What do you mean, no?
I said no.
You would be the worst improv class thing. It's like, okay, carry the scene onward. No! I refuse!
I'm not an improv person.
Okay, no, but you can give him a nugget of wisdom, something you've learned in your life. Some lesson, like don't pee on the toilet seat. I don't know.
Get your vaccine shot.
Okay. I mean, we did spend... You know what, Dave? You know what? Fuck you. Just fuck you. Go to hell. Just eat shit and die. I'll give him a nugget of wisdom.
Sure.
I'll give him a fucking nugget of wisdom. Folks, get your vaccines. Make sure that you're all treated and all that shit.
Passed the hammer and he dropped it on his foot.
That's what I did. Goodbye.
Tune in next time, everyone.